Well, hello and welcome to Transform Tuesday. I'm Dave McCormick, VP of Products and Services here at Alpha Software. I'm pleased to present Sarah Mitchell, who's in charge of our documentation department, who will be joining us today. And today we're going to be covering a topic that I realize it's been an entire year since we've worked on, and that has to do with responsive design in Transform. So let's go ahead and jump into it. Now, I was taking a look at my old notes and even my old videos, and I said, hey, that stuff's pretty good, but I'm not going to play you that, although it could have been easy just to replay it. I wanted to actually make this today's version sort of the go-to of how-to videos for doing responsive design and Transform, because I found a way to make it really simple, I think, to explain and simple for you guys to follow along. So here's just a quick example of what I'm talking about when I mean responsive design or responsive layout. This is just an image that I grabbed from iStock Photo, but it does a good job of illustrating the concept. If you take a look, there are 4 different screen types going clockwise. We're going to go from desktop to laptop to phone to tablet. And you'll notice that the desktop one has got multiple columns of text that it could fit across. Same with the laptop one. But as you get into these smaller screen sizes, when you get to a tablet, it's just a couple of columns of text. And when you get to the other one, it's even less than that. It's just the one column. And so, to take advantage of each of the screen real estate of each of the devices, you want your designs to be responsive in web applications, and that goes true for your transform forms as well. But before we go any further, just a quick question. I want to make sure that my sound is coming through and that you can see my screen.
There we go. Now we can
Okay,
see
cool.
your screen.
All right. All right, take 2, everyone. Pretend you forgot the last 30 seconds of what I was saying. I'm going to say it again. So this picture here from iStock, I think, illustrates the concept of responsive design, a responsive layout quite well. So if you take a look here, we've got a desktop and a laptop computer, each capable of showing lots of stuff on the screen because the screen is big. But as you get down into smaller designs like the tablet and the phone, you don't have quite as much real estate. So it intelligently resizes itself to show you just what's needed. And in some cases, it can actually make things disappear off of the screen. So this is a technique which all good modern web applications employ, and your transform forms should be no exception. So I wanted to show you how we were going to do that. So let me just give you an example. Okay. And this is a form that I created. In fact, let me just show you this form live because I think it'll do a better job showing you what I mean. Let's pop over here into transform. And here I've created a form. I call it Respondo, sort of a clever name, I thought. And it just keeps track of first name, last name, address, email, cell number, just contact information, really. And if you'll see in a phone point of view, this actually kind of makes sense. You probably need this much, or you might want this much real estate to put in your first name and last name. Even city, state, zip, it's probably okay that each one of these fields is on a separate line. But you might, on bigger screen sizes, want to do something a little different. And in Transform, you can actually see what these different screen sizes look like by clicking the hamburger button here at the bottom right, which I'm going to do right now. That opens up a menu, and I can choose small, which is the sort of a small phone size. Medium is, I'm going to call that a medium phone size. So that's kind of more like a modern cell phone still. Large would be something like a tablet. And then for desktop and laptops, that's extra large. So these result to different pixel settings, but this is all handled for you automatically. You don't have to worry about that. Just know that we have different sizes, small, medium, large, and extra large. So let's imagine on our phone, or let's imagine on our tablet, that we wanted to have first name and last name stacked next to each other. So how do we do that? Just move that out of the way. So we do that by going up here and by grabbing these 2 fields and putting them into a section. So just so I can repeat that, I clicked on this first field, I clicked on my second field, so both of these fields are selected, then I clicked plus, and I'm going to go down to where it says section, and I'm going to click the enclose button, and now both of these are in a section. You can tell because these 2 fields became indented. Okay, now we're going to do some settings here. So we're going to go here into this section start. We're going to pop over to layout. And we're going to say for the large view, which is the one I think we're looking at, I would like this to be in 2 columns. So I click that button to 2, and then I say I don't really want it to be indented, so I'm going to say no, and I'm going to click Save, and voila, first name, last name are next to each other. Okay, so let's do the same now with city, state, and zip or postcode. So I'm going to grab the city, state, zip, and postcode. I'm highlighting them here on the left. I'll click that plus button again, and again, I'm going to put it inside of a section. So in this section, I am going to tell it that I would like it to be divided into 3 columns instead of 2. 1, 2, 3. Oops, 3, if I can count. And then I'm going to go ahead and click Save. Now, by the way, what happens if you don't click Save? It doesn't save. It doesn't change. So don't. So if you do make changes here and you forget to click Save and you click off, it isn't going to save. So make sure you do click the right thing. It does keep it here in memory, but you do have to click Save for it to be committed. Okay. And the other thing I want to do here is I want to turn off that indent. And we're going to say indent no. And I'm going to click Save. Okay. So the first name, last name, and all that. Okay, that's pretty cool. Now, you've seen so far now how you can put section start and section ends around fields and divide them up into columns, and it will put the correct number of fields on that space. But sometimes you want to allow a little bit more space for things. Like let's say, or you want to have these fields be different sizes. So let me show you how to do that. I'm going to go back down here, and this time we're going to choose, let's go with the extra large layout. Let's pretend we are on a notebook computer screen or bigger. And let's say that we wanted city and state. Let's say we wanted city and state to take up different amounts of room. Let's say we wanted city to be bigger than we wanted to have state. Or even better yet, no, let's put all these on the same line. Let's go a little crazy here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move my address down here. And you'll see all that's happened though is it doesn't really wrap the way you want. We want all 4 of them to be on the same line. So one thing I could do is I could just open up section start, and I could say instead of 3 columns, I'd like 4 columns. But really, we don't really need all this much space for the zip or for the state. So we're going to do something a little clever here. We're going to make this, let's call it 12 columns. I know it's going to look weird for a second, but trust me on this. 10, 10, oops. Let's go with, let's go with 8. 7, 8. Okay, so those are teensy tiny. But now what I can do to each one of these fields is I can give them a certain number of columns. So now instead of clicking on the section start, I'm clicking on the field itself. I'm going into the layout. And then for my extra large layout, I'm going to say I'd like this to be 2. Let's see what 2 looks like. Oh, that's pretty good. And let's make city 2 as well. Extra large layout width is going to be 2. And now that fit pretty nicely. But let's use up the rest of the space. Let's give a little bit more space to address, I think. So we'll pop back up to address, and we'll choose its layout to 3 columns across. And it could probably have gone 4. It just make sure it all adds up to 8 at the end. So that's all there is to it. Now, if I switch to a different layout size, let's say we went back to the small, it's still small like it used to be before. But you'll notice that because I put them into a section, they became indented. You may not like that indent effect, but you can get rid of it. Just go into the section that it's in, and then choose for the small one that you don't want indenting. You're probably going to do the same for the medium as well. So we're going to click Save. And then we can do the same for this next section as well. And we'll grab medium, we'll make that indent no, and small, make that indent no. Don't forget to save. And now it's the way we want to. So that's really all there is to it when it comes to making responsive designs in TransForm. And keep in mind, TransForm also, if you're turning screens vertical as well as horizontal, is also going to affect how much space things are when it comes to size. So when we talk about small, medium, large, extra large, we are talking about the width of the screen. So a tablet might look one way, but one way when it's being held up, or a phone for that matter, but when you turn it into, say, a portrait orientation, you'll get more screen space, and as a result, you might actually upgrade to one of these other layouts. So that was all I really had to go over for today. Let me just see if there are any questions. If I can find the go to meeting window here somewhere. Go to meeting control panel. There we go. Hopefully I was clear. Let's see, questions. How about placing the label and the data field on the same row? You can't, okay, so that's a good question. You can't really do that. The only thing you could do if you wanted to is you could conceivably, move this out of the way. So like you want to say, for example, city and then have the city field next to it. Yeah, we don't offer a way to do that. The only thing I could think that you could do would be to have it not display the title. But even then, I'm not sure how you would do that. I guess you could make that blank. Let's see if we made that blank. And then the idea is that you could put another control next to it that had the name city or something like that in it. I'd really have to experiment. If there's a particular way you'd like it to see it, don't forget, you can always send us comments and questions to tfservice@alphasoftware.com. And that looks like about it here for questions. Yeah, someone made the same suggestion. You could put static text in for the label, and so in other words, build a static text control and put it just to the left of the address. But if you want to see a specific example, just go ahead and email us. Before we go though, I wanted to let you know about Alpha Anywhere. We have a brand new version which came out today. And for those of you who don't know, Alpha Anywhere is, or at least the Alpha Anywhere Community Edition, is a free for life edition. You can go download, develop, even test it out on your own local devices and free of charge. And today's version's got a whole bunch of cool new stuff in it. In fact, I think Sarah is here. Maybe she could mention just a couple of the things you might want to look for if you're familiar with Alpha Anywhere. Sarah, are you there?
Yeah, I am
Okay.
here. Can you hear me all
Sorry to put
right?
you on this. I can hear you fine. Sorry to put you on the spot. I didn't actually talk to you about this beforehand, but I know
No,
you
no.
think
I
on
mean,
your
this
feet.
is just came out today, so.
Okay.
But no, some of the really big things that have come out in this release are a new PDF engine, which is allowing us to get away from the need to install the old AmiUni printer drivers on a system and just generate a PDF without that, which in the long term is going to be really, really good for generating reports with Alpha Anywhere. But
Yes,
we've
there's
also
also
got
something
some new
called
controls
fixed,
and
fixed
a few other
column
things.
with UXs, I think. Did I read something about that?
Yeah, there's an ability to create fixed um, columns in a list. And so the idea of a fixed column, it's sort of the column stays fixed on the screen. So as you scroll the list data left and right, if you've got a lot of data and you need to scroll it on, it just doesn't fit on your
Ah,
screen,
like
those columns will stay in
is it
place.
like freezing a
Like
column in a spreadsheet kind of thing?
it's exactly like freezing a column in a spreadsheet.
Ah, cool. Yeah,
Yeah.
awesome.
And with that, some new abilities to create vertical lines within the list a bit easier.
Nice. So you can go get that at alphasoftware.com. It is free of charge. And of course, it also works great with Alpha TransForm. They're meant to work together. Well, that's it for this week, Sarah. Thank you very much. Thank you, everyone who showed up, especially those who asked questions. It's always good to keep the conversations lively. If you have any more questions, go ahead and send them to tfservice@alphasoftware.com. Thanks very much for being here. Hope to see you at the next Transform Tuesday. Take care and stay well. Bye-bye.